Assalamu alaikum students. How are you? I hope you all are doing well. My name is Noor Jahan and from here on I'll be taking your economics class. And I have a great hopes that this e-learning session will provide you all the adequate knowledge that you are seeking from this video. Are you excited students for your first economics class? Yes, your answer probably would be yes. So let's start our today's e-learning session. So students, today we are going to start our chapter number first, that is Introduction to Macroeconomics. So it would be a great excitement for you people that you are going to start with the meaning of economics, that what economics actually means. What are the different definitions which are given by different economics, different very famous authors. They have given their valuable words for the meaning of economics. Let's have a look on this. So before I start the today's session, I would like to share the learning objective of today's session. There is four main definitions of economics. So we will study about the four main definitions of economics which are given by different authors. So let's start the video with the meaning, with the general meaning of economics. So students, just have a look that from what word the economics originates. So what is the origin of word economics actually? So the English term economics is derived from the Greek word oikonomia. Its meaning is household management. Basically, how the work is managed is actually mean by economics. So economics was first read in ancient Greece. Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, termed economics as a science of household management. So basically, economics word is originated from a Greek word that is oikonomia, and it is given by Aristotle, that is a Greek philosopher, which actually mean is household management, how the work is managed actually. The meaning of economics is general term is the management, the household management. Now have a look on the meaning of economics. That is, economics is the study of how people allocate scarce, that means limited, resources for production, distribution, and consumption, both individually and collectively. So basically, it's study how the people allocate, how the people use their limited resources for these purposes. And further, economics is divided into two categories, broad categories, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. So you know very well that we are going to study about microeconomics. So micro means small, which focuses on the behavior of individual consumers and producer problems actually. Now, what is the meaning of macroeconomics here is which examine or which study overall economies on a regional, national or international scale. So basically the main difference between these two is that micro deals with the small and macro deals with the whole. So in general way, economics is a social science which deals with the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. So there are large number of economists give their different definition. Some say that there is no requirement of definitions of economics. This because economics growing continuously, there are numerous changes which are occurring in the system. But most of the economists agree with the view that defining economics is must. So on the basis of these economics, the definition of economics is divided into four parts, which we will discuss in today's video. Now students, have a look on the four main definitions of economics. The first one is Smith's wealth definition, which represent classical era. Second one is given by Marshall, that is welfare definition, represent the neoclassical era. Third one is given by Robbins, that is scarcity definition, representing the new age, and it is a very popular definition of economics given by Robin. The fourth one is Samuelson growth definition, and in the coming sides you will learn about these four different definitions in detail, because it's very important to you people to understand what the meaning of economics according to these economics, these different four economics. Before understanding the definition given by Adam Smith, just have a look on the Adam Smith history. So Adam Smith was an 18th century Scottish economist and philosopher and author who is considered the father of modern economics. And it would be asked you people for 1 marks that who is the father of modern economics, and your answer would be Adam Smith. So he has become famous by his influential book, that is The Wealth of Nation, in 1776. And in this particular book, Adam Smith explained the definition of economics. So have a look on the definition of economics given by Adam Smith. So this is the definition of economics by Adam Smith. He defined as economics is the science of wealth. So basically, he is known as the father of political economy because he was the first person who put all the economic ideas in a systematic way. So basically, the one line definition is economic is the science of wealth. I will explain you what is science of wealth actually. So it is the only after Adam Smith that we study economics as a systematic science. So actually he gave his all input to introduce economic as a subject to study in a systematic way. So he was saying economics as a wealth of nation. Now have a look on the explanation of the definition. So what's the explanation of wealth definition? He said wealth of a nation economics. So wealth is the term in definition those material goods which are used to satisfy our wants and which are also scarce, which means limited. Goods are divided in parts that are material goods and non-material goods. Material goods are actually those which are tangible, which mean you can touch that goods. Okay, for example, books, radio, television, mobile, paper, etc. And non-material goods are those which are neither seen or nor touched. For example, service of a teacher, service of cell phones network, and service of a doctor, etc. are not treated as a wealth. I mean, he was making distinction between these two, that is material and non-material goods. So according to this definition of economics is only the study of wealth. This definition gives the first preference to the wealth and then to the study of man. I mean, he was not taking care of the welfare of the society, but he given the main importance to the wealth of the nation. So the users of the definition of economics are think about a man who fully know about his self-interest and who also know how to satisfy his wants. This man is called economic man. So this definition tells us about the way by which the wealth of a nation is increased, and which means economic development. To increase wealth, production of material goodwill has to set up. So there are two ways to increase the wealth: by increasing the demand of the goods or by increasing the supply of the good. So basically Adam Smith just focused on the increase, that how can we increase the wealth of the nation. What are the different activities we can perform to increase this wealth? So basically, he was not giving any importance to the welfare of the society. He was giving the priority to the wealth of the nation. So here, the criticism of this definition. Obviously, if someone is doing initiate to explain something, there would be another economics who will not be relating with this meaning, who are not actually satisfied with the meaning which is given by Adam Smith. So they usually criticize this thing. Criticize means giving the demerits to the this definition actually. So I wrote here 5 points in different points how the wealth of a nation definition given by Adam Smith is not appropriate to other economics. So there here are some criticism points. So the first point is too much importance to wealth. So the definition gives more importance to the wealth than man. I actually told you that Adam Smith does not give the full importance to the welfare of the man, but actually it gives the full importance to the wealth. So this definition ignores the that wealth is used to satisfy human wants, not an end. Men and not wealth should have given more importance. You know very well that man resource is a powerful resource than any other source. So they criticize for this point that Adam Smith does not given the full importance to men. So wealth has been given primary and men also secondary place in his definition. So here comes the next point of criticism, that is neglect of welfare. This definition not tells about the welfare of the society. It gives too much importance to the wealth. It gives no attention to the well-being of the society by proper use and equal distribution of wealth. So the third point here is narrow means small, means shorter area, meaning of wealth. So in this definition, wealth is only the tangible things. Tangible means which can be seen and which can be touched. And all non-tangible means the opposite of tangible, which can't be seen, just can be feel. So non-tangible things such as services of a doctor, service of a professor, service of your teacher, etc., have been remain outside the scope of economics. You can understand very well this is not done actually. If the tangible things are considered in the meaning of economics, then it should consider the non-tangible things, the services given by other different professions. So economics is not only concerned with obtaining the wealth, its aim is the welfare of men actually. But according to Adam Smith, he was just focusing how can we increase the wealth of the nation. So the fourth point is neglect the problem of scarcity. Scarcity means limited. This definition not use the two main terms of economics, that is scarcity and choice. I will explain you these terms in the Robbins definition. So actually in economics a problem is created because the wants are unlimited and the means which satisfy the wants are scarce. It means that we human being are demanding our demands are unlimited, but the resources which are available in our country, in our world, is limited. So we have to make the choice between selecting the resources to satisfy our basic and important need. So but Adam Smith does not consider this problem, so he just neglected the problem of scarcity. So the last point of criticism is individual and social needs are not separated. This definition is only told about the wealth, not about to the needs of the individual. What are the need requirement of the individual? He does not consider this point. It tells how to use the wealth to satisfy the need of the society, not about the individual. So that's all for the criticism of Adam Smith. So the second main definition of economics is given by Alfred Marshall. So before moving to the definition given by him, just have a look on the introduction or the history of Alfred Marshall. He was one of the most influential economists of his time. His book Principle of Economics in 1890 was the dominant economic textbook in England for many years. It brings the most important idea of supply and demand, marginal utility, and cost of production into coherent whole. These all are very important concept of economics we will study in the upcoming chapters in your book. So he is known as one of the founders of neoclassical economics. Now we will have a look on the definition which he gave of economics. So here is the definition of economics by Alfred Marshall. So economics is the study of humans in relation to the ordinary business of life. It studies that portion of the personal and social activities which are closely related to the attainment of material resources related to welfare and its utilization. So actually these are the actual words of Alfred Marshall for the definition of economics. So this definition is considered the welfare definition. He just spoke about the welfare of the society in his definition. So I will explain you this definition. So for the explanation purposes, I wrote the features of Marshall's definition. So the first point of the feature is wealth is not the be all and or end all of economic activities. It means that it does not start with the wealth and ends with the wealth only. Wealth is sought for promoting human welfare. Hence, wealth is only a means to the fulfillment of an end, which is human welfare. Thus, wealth is neglected to a secondary place. So basically, Marshall give the priority to the welfare of the human being and give the secondary place to the wealth. Economic activity I want to explain here. Economic activities mean those activities which are considered for earning money. Actually, economic activities means like if a teacher is giving tuition to the students, it would be mentioned as economic activity. But if a mother is giving a tuition, is if giving explanation to her child, it would be considered as non-economic activity because the mother is not doing that work for earning the money. So this is the difference between economic activity and non-economic activity. And according to Marshall, wealth is not only considered for economic activities only. It was considered for welfare of human being also. So the second point here is study of an ordinary man. So economics is not concerned with what is called in economics economic man. That is a man whose only motive is to acquire wealth for its own sake and who is not influenced by human consideration in the pursuit of wealth. Rather, economics deals with ordinary man, a normal man and woman who are saved by love, affection and fellow feelings and not merely motivated by the desire to get maximum monetary advantage. So the third point is economics is a social science. So economics is a social science and not one which study the isolated individuals. Economics study people living in the society, influencing other people and being influenced by them. So it is actually called social science related with the society, related with how the human being works, how the human being shares their feeling with each other, how it actually work in the ordinary man and woman's life. So the last point here is economics does not study all activities of men. So economics, it is concerned with those activities which can be brought directly or indirectly with the measuring rod of money. Marshall clearly explains that economic activity is different from other activities. For example, if a student visits a friend who is ill, it's a social activity. If a person gives his vote in an election, it is a political activity. If a person goes to church, temple, it is a religious activity. So Marshall says that economic activity is different from the above mentioned activity. Like a farmer going to the field or a worker going to the factory to work is an economic activity because they are working to earn money, and with that money they will buy things to satisfy their wants. So in other words, economics deal with wants, efforts, satisfaction. So in the words of Marshall, men earns money to get material welfare. Marshall give importance to welfare and men. As such, this definition come to be called the welfare definition. So in the same way that we studied about the criticism of Adam Smith definition, now have a look on the criticism of Marshall's definition. So the first point of criticism is illusion of anti-immutability. Marshall has restricted the relation of economics only to the attainment of material resources and its consumption, whereas economics also include the immaterial resources like services of educate. Again, this is the criticism point which was given in Adam Smith definitions criticism also. Like they did not consider the immaterial things, that is non-tangible things. So this is a criticism point from the others economics. The second point is vagueness of ordinary business activity. The phrase used by Dr. Marshall, the activity related to the ordinary business of a life, is unclear and vague because it is not clear what activity of man come under ordinary business and which activity are outside its area. I mean, he was saying that he considered the ordinary man's life in his definition, but he does not give the proper explanation of ordinary business activity. I mean, which activities are considered under the ordinary business or which are not. So this is one of the another criticism of his definition. So third point is unclear economic activity. Marshall has divided human activity in two parts, like economic and non-economic, which is unfair because a similar activity of men can be economic and non-economic also at a different time. So because like I gave you the example of teacher and a mother, but he does not clear this thing in his definition. So the fourth point is unfair to rallies economic with human welfare. Economic has no relation with human welfare, is said by Professor Robin. Under this, all kind of activities must be studied whether it is related to human welfare or not. He gives the following. Who gives the? Robin gives his arguments, criticism points against Marshall's definition. That is, production and consumption of alcohol and other intoxic things not beneficial for human welfare. Still, it is studied in economics. Like human welfare is not a definite idea. It keeps changing according to time, place, condition. We can't just explain what is human welfare properly because it changes according to the time, place. Human welfare cannot be measured in quantitative terms. Quantitative terms means which can be expressed in numbers, and you can't express welfare type of things in numbers. So it is unfair to rely with this human welfare point according to Robin. He was also a great economist. So the next point is economic is not only a social science but also human science. Professor Marshall has restricted the field of economics by calling it only a social science. As I told you that Marshall considered the economic subject as social science. On the contrary, I mean, on the criticism point of view, Professor Robin expressed his views that economic is a human science whose basic rules is to apply to an insane miser's sake in the same manner as it applies to all the persons living in the society. So actually, Robbins expressed his views that economics is just not only social science, but is also considered the human science. It is applied in on every type of human, whether he is miser or insane. So that's all for the Marshall definition point of view. So the next main economics is Charles Robin. Have a look on the history of Charles Robin. So he was a British economist and prominent member of economics department at the London School of Economics. So he is famous for the quote, "Human want what they can't have." So it's the quote given by Charles Robin. So now it's time to look after the definition which is given by Charles Robin, who criticized the Marshall definition. So his definition is economic is a science which studies the human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So this definition has a great importance in the economics world because it actually deals with the main problem of any nation, that is scarce sources and alternative uses and unlimited want. Now it's time to have a look on the features of Charles Robbins' definition. So the first point here is unlimited want. As I told you that human wants are unlimited, and on the satisfaction of one wants, another want arises immediately. So basically our wants never ends. We want everything. So the main definition of Robin considered this point, that unlimited wants of human being. And the next point he considered is scarce means. Scarce, I told you many times that limited. Robin definition stated that through on one side human needs are unlimited, as I told you human needs are unlimited. Yet on the other side, the means to satisfy, the resources to satisfy these wants like time, power, money, etc. are limited. Due to this, many of men's needs remain unsatisfied. So the third point is alternative use of scarce means. Like to satisfy men's need, we have limited resources, but we have alternative use. Alternative means different uses of that resources. Like in other words, a person can use every resources in various objective and activities. For example, such a resource like land can be used in many ways, such as it can be used for agriculture or for building a house or established a factory. So he have a limited source of land, but there are various different options on which he can consume that limited source. Robin considered this point. So the next point is variation in the intensity of wants. Variation means differences. Like Robin definition states that the intensity of men needs is different. Some want are more intense than the other. Intense means important. Since our means are limited and all wants cannot be satisfied. Like resources are limited. At a point of time we can't satisfy all the wants with the limited means. As a result, we have to select some important want from our unlimited wants, and the less intense want have to be either dropped or postponed to a future date. And it is a very important point given by Robin that we have to drop our unimportant want to complete the important want. So the last main definition is given by Paul Samuelson. So he was an American economist, the first American to win the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Science. So Paul Samuelson was one of the most influential economists of the 20th century and was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1970. Samuelson was the author of a major body of theoretical economics in many areas and of one of the most popular economic textbook in USA. So now it's time to have a look on the definition given by him. That is, economics is a social science concerned chiefly with the way society chooses to employ its resources, which have alternative uses to produce goods and services for present and future consumption. So this is the definition given by him. So let's have a look on the explanation of this definition. So the first point is efficient allocation means using of resources. So there is a great deal of similarity between the approaches of Samuelson and Robin. Like both have stressed the problem of scarcity of means in relation to unlimited ends or wants. So he focused that we should use the resources properly, efficiently. Second point is dynamism. Samuelson has included dynamism point in the definition of economics by incorporating the time element actually. The problem of growth has been included in the preview in the definition. Dynamism means changes occurs in the economy. So he considered this point that it can affect on the development in the growth of the economy. So third point again, problem of choice. The greatest feature of Samuelson definition is that it takes into the account the problem of choice in a dynamic framework of economics in the same way Robin has also mentioned about this. So the last point is improvement in resources allocation. Economics analyze the cost and benefit of improving the pattern of resources allocation, and improvement of resources allocation and better distributive justice are synonyms with economic development. So now students, it's your time to complete the assignment question. I am only giving you the one question, that is explain the four main definitions of economics in detail, which I have explained you in a very well manner. So you just have to look after this video carefully, then you have to complete this assignment question and you have to submit to me on time. So understand the video and do your best in the assignment. So that's all from my side, students. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Take care.